How's it going, Pokemon family? It's PJ here from the Shuffle Squad, and today we're going to be talking about a deck that has been coming in and out of the meta. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. We're just going to talk about it all, and that is Rapid Strike. Now, Rapid Strike has a plethora of attackers, and we want to talk about how each one of them work. I like to think of this deck as a giant puzzle to put together, but you can take it as it is, and hopefully you can see some success with this deck like some of our team members have as well. We're going to cover the entire list and the new version of it, as well as some gameplay. So before we do it, as always, we're going to kick it over to our sponsors and then head right into that deck list.
Be sure to check out all of the sponsors of the Shuffle Squad, whether you're looking for graded cards, you're looking for singles, sealed. We have all affiliate codes with all of our great sponsors, so be sure to check them out in the description below. Thank you so much for supporting us.
Okay, so if we look at this list, it's very similar to the list that Cyrus Davis played in the North American International Championship and won. So she's very proud, as so is the team, of that deck list. So we're going to go over some of the pieces and parts here. So this is the newest version, I think, that we have of the list, where it's still playing the 3-3 line of the Rapid Strike Ineleon VMAX, and you have your 2-2 line of your Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Now, both play a pivotal role in how this deck works, where you can use the ability of Ineleon and discard some water energy. You're going to be pinging 2 benched Pokemon for 20 damage each. Each turn you can do this, and you can also do it with multiple VMAX Pokemon if you haven't already played this deck. This is something that may be new to you or in your thought process of playing the deck. How can I get all those damage counters on the board? And that's really how you start to ramp up that damage. Now, to carry out the end game for you after you've placed all those damage counters around, you do have the Urshifu to do G-Max Rapid Flow that puts 120 damage on 2 spots of your opponent's board. To get all of those cards here, we do have the 2-2 Rapid Strike Octillery, and that has the Rapid Strike search ability. You can go in and find any card that has the tagline of Rapid Strike in the upper right hand corner. Aside from that, you see some of the other tech Pokemon in here, like the Radiant Alakazam, and then you have your Medicham V, which helps with doing those Yoga Loop plays that we love to see when these decks are on stream as well, where you're getting to take an extra turn. Now that is huge in this deck, and you really want to play towards that moment where you can take an extra turn and just pummel your opponent into the ground and take a ton of prizes all in one shot. Now, to help our engine go a little bit smoother, we do have the Lumineon V, so it can use the Lumineous sign ability and go in and find a supporter when you need it. And really what we need is supporters in this deck. So we're going to hop across the way here and talk about all the supporters. Now, this deck went a little bit heavier in the draw support, where we're putting 2 Karina's Focus in here, just so that Octillery can search out this card, being that it is a Rapid Strike card, and you're able to draw a hand up to 6 cards. That can definitely help in a matchup spread that's trying to limit your hand, where all those Judge or Ionos are out there, where they're trying to disrupt your hand from getting where you need to go and setting up your puzzle to finalize your opponent. So we'll talk about some of the other supporters here, like Iono, because not only are you going to get Iono'd, but you definitely want to Iono your opponent too. And Iono is really big in this deck, I feel, because a lot of the time you are playing from behind until that end game moment appears to you. So when you're using Iono, you usually are getting 5 or 6 cards off of that Iono on your side, and maybe you're just limiting your opponent to 2, 3, or 4. So Iono is really good in this deck, and there is 2 here, just so you can have that moment where you're growing your hand and putting your opponent at a lower hand size and disrupting them. Now, aside from that, we have our wonderful supporter in Irida, where it can get the majority of the Pokemon in this deck, because you get 1 water Pokemon here and an item card. Generally, you want to see Irida on your first turn so you can get one of the Battle VIP Pass and set up your board state, but really there are so many other item cards in this list that we'll get to in a moment that you want to find during the middle of your game too. Now there are two Melanies, and Melanies are great just in case you face something that requires you to not play special energy like the Duraludon. Hopefully we won't ever see that card coming into play because I really despise Duraludon VMAX. But aside from that, you want to use your Melanie on your Rapid Strike Urshifu to set up that G-Max Rapid Flow. So you can take the energy card that you've discarded from your Ineleon VMAX and pop it right onto your Urshifu and swing for those numbers that we were talking about earlier. We do have 2 research in here just in case your hand's pretty dead and you need 7 new cards to get you to that point of winning the game. We do have the research in here too, or maybe you start out with a dead hand so you can use that research at that point. We have 1 Cheryl, and I absolutely love Cheryl in this list. I think that if you're playing a Rapid Strike deck and not playing Cheryl, you're really doing it wrong. So Cheryl helps you out because you can pivot your Pokemon so often and then just heal all of your evolved Pokemon off. So whether it's your Ineleon VMAX, your Urshifu VMAX, or maybe even some spread damage has moved over onto your Octillery for some reason, if you're playing a Lost Zone deck, you can just heal all of that off in one go with Cheryl. We do have the 1 of Clara because sometimes you do have to discard some of your Pokemon, or maybe some of your Pokemon on the board get knocked out. You might need them back in a clutch spot, so that's where Clara is really good here. Plus it does get back 2 water energy, so it's kind of like a 3rd energy retrieval in this list as well. Now we'll move over, since we started talking about some of the items already, we'll talk about these item cards. Now, I really like the way that Cal has these spaced out and really the count of each one of them. So there are 4 Ultra Balls. We'll start there. Ultra Ball is pivotal here. Alex Shemansky has said it, Cyrus has said it, and now Cal is playing, all 4 Ultra Balls. We saw lists earlier going down to 3, and we really feel like 4 is the correct number. Now, when we're talking about 3, we do see 3 Battle VIP passes. Generally, a deck would want consistency and have that 4th Battle VIP pass, but we went for 3 here too. So I think 3 is fine, and you usually either open up with one of those or use one of your 3 Forest Seal Stones to go find that in the opening turn, or you're finding it with your Irida at one point in the game. So 3 Forest Seal Stones, 3 Battle VIP Pass, and only 2 Nest Balls. We don't need too many Nest Balls here in this list because we are setting up with Battle VIP Pass, and just using that Nest Ball isn't really helpful. We do have 1 of Heavy Ball if we're looking at the search cards, and I think Heavy Ball is really great here in case you have one of your tech Pokemon prized, like your Radiant Alakazam or your Medicham. You can even pull out a Lumineon V if it gets prized and then set it right down and find your supporter card, which is really cool with Heavy Ball. We do have 3 Tower of Waters here. That way you can pivot in and out with all of your Rapid Strike Pokemon. It reduces all the retreat costs by 2 energy, and all of your Pokemon have 2 or less as a retreat cost anyway if they're a Rapid Strike Pokemon. So it's basically free retreat. It's pretty much a float stone if you've been playing back in the day. So having that free retreat, and you could just Gale Thrust with Urshifu too. I think that that's a really great play in this deck as well. Now, we do see the 2 energy retrieval we talked about, and there's 1 energy search here because sometimes you just need that extra 20 damage and you can't find your water energy because we only play 6. So having that energy search is really good here. And in case we can't find our Tower of Water, we do have 1 of Escape Rope, and that really puts your opponent in a bad spot. If they have something they're protecting on their bench, you just pull it up and smack it with whatever Pokemon you really want to. So I like that, and it also helps getting your Radiant Alakazam out of the active, because aside from that and manually attaching with water energy, there's no way of getting that Radiant Alakazam out of the active. The last card I want to talk about, and I think that this is the best card in the entire list, is Echoing Horn. Now, Echoing Horn is really awesome because once you are able to Yoga Loop or G-Max Rapid Flow something on the bench, you can immediately bring it back and then just start to ramp up damage on it all over again. I've seen this used in between a Yoga Loop play, and it's just so detrimental to your opponent, and I really enjoy this card in this list. I don't think the Rapid Strike list should be playing all 60 cards without the Echoing Horn being one of them. And what's nice is that it is also a Rapid Strike card, so you can always find it with Octillery. We'll move over to the energies here. We have 6 water and 4 of the Rapid Strike energy, providing 2 energy, whether they're water or fighting. And I really, really like the way that this list is shaping out. It could be the play for some upcoming regionals. So we're going to hop over to some gameplay and we'll see how it goes. Get loaded up on a game. We're going to throw out Tails, and it fails. For those who think that Tails never fails, proof is in the pudding right here. You get to see our opponent won the coin flip, which is pretty fine because I guess we get to go second and we can draw a whole bunch of things, so that's not necessarily a problem for us. We can use Irida, Lumineon is a thing. Battle VIP Pass is still on the table, so all kinds of things that we're thinking about when we are going second with this matchup, but I really think that second feels fine. Maybe the ARC matchups, you definitely want to go first, but it's hard, especially if you're playing those regionals and you want to, know what your first match is, because maybe that determines the set of 3. Okay, well, we have the Ineleon here, so I think that we'll start with Ineleon, because we can always pivot into a Urshifu VMAX if we have to go down that route. Karina's not so bad here for turn 1 if we can find one of our 4 Seal Stones. We got a Spiritomb here, so basic V Pokemon have no abilities. I don't think that we have any basic V Pokemon other than Lumineon that have abilities, so I think that's the only one that's shut off in the whole list. That's pretty good. Alright, looks like Tandem Unit is happening. So, a little scary for our Ineleon friend here. We're going to have to go for a big, big turn. Now, we don't want to put Urshifu V out right away because it is a 220 hit point V Pokemon, and magically Miraidon can hit 220 here pretty quick. So let's put down the Urshifu. Let's put down the Kazam. We're going to have to go with the unfortunate discard of these here. Let's just go in and we'll get our Remoraid and check our prizes too. We've got our Cheryl, that's in play. Clara's cool. We got 1 Melanie. We've got only 1 Irida. We've got both of our Ionos, 1 Research. Alright, only 1 Nest Ball. A lot of supporters in the prize cards. So all 3 of our Battle VIP passes and our 4 Seal Stones. And it looks like we have all of our energy cards. So that's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and draw a fresh hand of 6. This is where, if I was playing IRL, I'd give myself a high five here. Fresh hand of 6. Looking good. We can even go double Urshifu here. And we're going to have to research next turn. Let's just put down the Ineleon just for giggles. And I think we're just going to retreat into an Urshifu and then just end the turn. So hopefully they don't get out of Stadium and just retreat into the Raikou and knock this out. So it's 220 exactly. It just would feel bad, I suppose. There's the switch cart. So 1 Urshifu going down, not so bad. We can do lots of things with this. Next turn we still have Tower in play. Chances are they're going to play a Path to the Peak, I would assume. That's usually the play for this style of deck now, with the World Championships in the past here. There's the 4 Seal Stone. We might be going in for that Stadium now too. We're going to have to see. I'm not sure if they fleet-footed yet. I wish we had a game log, but there we go. There's a Flaffy. They're going to start to maybe get some sort of energy in play. Not exactly sure. So Lightning Rondo, exactly enough. That's totally fine. So let's put up our Ineleon here. And just load up the VMAX. Oh, feels so bad to have both energy retrievals there, but what are you gonna do? We're playing a win here. Let's go in with a research, see if we can find our Octillery. We do find the Octillery, actually. Alright, first things first, let's go and double gunner. And put... Yeah, let's just put 2 here. And... we'll just do 2 here. That's fine. We can go ahead and get rid of... let's get rid of water and the Battle VIP pass. Then we can Force Seal Stone too. We need to get the Octillery. We'll get that going. And then what I think I'll do is I will go ahead and get the Rapid Strike Energy. Take our 2 prize knockout here because we can, right? Put the Force Seal Stone on the Urshifu. There's no way they are knocking that out. And then we're going to go ahead and do this, where we Gale Thrust for 300 damage. And that's the way the cookie crumbles for the Miraidon deck here, being weak to fighting. So we're going to go ahead and just take 2 prize cards, see what else they can do. I could still Force Seal Stone. Still do lots of things, actually. We have Energy Search left. I could Medicham next turn. That would be kind of funny, too. I could just move stuff with Radiant Alakazam. I can do the Medicham play. Take 1 prize card here. And then I can also just slam into this Miraidon, just leaving them without any resources. They probably need an energy card. Alright, there's a rope. So, I don't want to give them a 3 prizer, because that feels kind of bad. Guess I can give them a 2 prizer. I'll just go from there. Let's see what they got here. There's an Iono. This is kind of fine. We're talking about those Iono plays. Still only 4 cards. Totally fine with me. Not exactly sure what they're going for here, but we know that we're going to take some sort of knockout. There's a path, and we were kind of expecting that. We do have one more Tower of Waters. Luminion seems fine. We'll take that out, and that's where we can use Luminous Sign here. And we can even go ahead and hit 240 here, then sprinkle some damage. So, I think we can get 2 cards, right? We need a Water Energy, Water Energy, Medicham. Yeah, we need this spot for Medicham because I think that just is so detrimental to them. So I think what I'm going to do first, let's just Iono. I know it gives them a little bit more resources. They get a few more cards. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Look at that. And then you have to try. We're going to go ahead and double gunner first. We're going to double gunner here. And also here. Then I can grab a Medicham. Nope, not you, not Urshifu. Get the Medicham instead. We'll get the Medicham down, we'll Yoga Loop them. Can add this here. I can go ahead and retreat into the Medicham. We can Yoga Loop here. There we go. Take 1 prize. And then, let's see. So we can do 40 more damage there if we want. And I think that's... Well, no. What am I talking about? We're just going to take the knockout here. So again, mind you, we had 4 prizes left, and I wasn't necessarily thinking of all the plays that I could make, but Here we go. We'll Star Alchemy for that last Melanie here. We don't even have to Melanie. We can just get raw water. But I think Melanie is fine. It doesn't even matter. Let's just do that. This seems funny enough to work, right? We'll go, just for giggles, let's put it back in the bench. Sure. Then we'll hit Melanie to our Urshifu, draw some cards, and there we go. Let's retreat into the Urshifu, and then we can G-Max Rapid Flow. Yes, I would love to confirm this attack. And we're just going to go 120 here, which is 240, and then another 120 here. It didn't even matter. We were just kind of overplaying at that point. We were just BMing. So we're going to take those 2 prize cards, and then we'll take 1 final prize card off that Spiritomb. So many cool plays that you can make with this deck. So many awesome ways you can win. Playing against Mixed Stud 2000 here on the ladder, so we're going to see if this works out. Yes, we do want to go first this game. Let's try that. Tails didn't do us wrong this time around, so we're going to see how this next matchup plays out. So here is one of those games where you have the unfortunate start of Lumineon. However, if we take a look at our hand, we have plenty of options to play out our turn. So this is fine. So it looks like a Lost Box deck. So this one's pretty good for us too. It's a pretty decent matchup. We even get a mulligan too. Wow, okay. So we're just going to go ahead. It is my turn. I'm going to go ahead and raw Battle VIP. See if they scoop or not. We're just going to get this and this. We'll go here. I'm going to play down this Inteleon. We're going to go ahead and get our second Inteleon. And we can attach water here because we're not getting knocked out. There's no way that they're going to knock our Inteleon V on the bench out in their first turn. It's just not going to happen. They need to Colress. They can't boss. They could rope, but we have enough stuff to rope. That's perfectly fine. Playing against the Lost Box, I kind of know my way around how their first turns play out. They could try to go like Dragonite turn 1 on this Lumineon and take 2 prize cards. That is a possibility if they're playing a turbo build, but it seems like quite a few people are getting off of the turbo build of these Lost Zone decks, which is kind of fine for Rapid Strike. It does really well against everything outside of turbo. There's the Battle VIP pass coming down. We'll see what they get. They get a Greninja to draw some cards. They need at Switch Out, which is the Switch card, so that's good. So they start to put cards into their Lost Zone. Let's see exactly what they're putting there so we can take a look at their resources. Nest Ball, obviously don't need that here. Concealed cards, let's see them switch again. They have 1 more Comfy after this, so still not getting... Oh, 2 Nest Balls. Okay, so got the raw water in hand, doing the retreat. So we just have to pay attention to their resources in this matchup. We want to see if we can make sure that we snuff them out when their hand starts to get big. We can use our Iono. We want to start planting damage counters on all of their Pokemon. So now what I have to do, I'm going to evolve here and here. And then I'm going to have to manually retreat, which is pretty fine. So let's just go here, start taking out their Comfies. And then I will use Karina's Focus and draw 5 cards. Always seems good. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Ultra Ball. And I think Urshifu is fine here because we can always use Clara to get our Urshifu back. And what we really need is this Octillery this turn so we can start cycling out a couple of our resources out of the deck. So the first thing I want to do is I am going to use Double Gunner. And we're going to start pinging some damage. And then I can go in and just get a regular old Urshifu V and plant that right there on my bench spot because we do have the other VMAX, so that's pretty fine as well. We can go ahead and put that down here. We'll use Radiant Alakazam to move the damage counters off the Comfy because chances are they're going to use their switching carts on the Comfies and not on the Manaphy, and then we will just start taking prizes with the GMAX Spiral here. Yes, I would love to put that energy in my hand just in case you got a Raikou sitting there in your hand and you want to knock out my Ineleon VMAX. So this is really good here as well. We want to make sure that if they do knock out our Ineleon VMAX, that we're going to go ahead and just use Iono here. And this is also fine. So they got the escape rope. All of the fun things here. So we can really go Melanie and set ourselves up to use the Urshifu here. Even if we don't put the Rapid Strike energy, you want to hold the Rapid Strike energy on the board. And there we go. There's the Dragonite. So we see that coming down. We're going to be able to hit for some serious numbers after the fact. And even if they use Dragonite, it's pretty bad here. I love Dragonite, my favorite Pokemon, but honestly, Dragonite in this matchup is really bad because it does put those damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon, which is great. So our Radiant Alakazam can take advantage of that, and so can our Ineleon VMAXs. So we know Cheryl should be somewhere in the deck. We can even take a hit here, take a hit over on our next VMAX, and then just Cheryl it all off because there's no energy on the board, which is another advantage of this deck too. They're doing worse to themselves by using Dragonite's bigger attack. So what they have to really play into is either a Greninja play, or they have to go into a Raikou, something like that. Okay, so we don't even need to Rapid Strike Search. That's crazy. So yeah, like I said, we're just going to use our Melanie here and put that on the Urshifu. We do get our Water and our Cheryl, so this is really great here. Let's double Gunner. We're going to put this on you and on you. And I'll just go ahead and move one damage counter from here to there. And we'll just be done with that. Okay, cool. We're taking another prize card. This is totally fine. I will go ahead and attach an energy here. We're going to go use our Rapid Strike Search. Then I'm going to go in and find our Tower of Waters. We'll get that, because next turn they're probably going to swing with their Dragonite, or attempt to swing with their Dragonite. We're going to take out their resources of fueling their Lost Zone with both Comfies gone. Comfy is going to get out of here real quick, and now we only have 2 prize cards left to take. We can even try to set up for a Yoga Loop play. If they hit with their Dragonite, we can just keep switching and then use that Cheryl. There's our other Tower of Waters just in case they bump Stadium. That's also really good. And if they take too many prize cards, then you know what? That's all fine. They're not going to take too many prize cards, though. We won't let them. We won't let them do that. No way. Alright, Energy Recycler, which scares me a little bit. That seems like there's a Kyogre waiting in the wings here. Okay, so this is also fine, and here's why. Because we knew that we had another Karina's Focus. Oh my gosh, Cheryl. So we can always use Rapid Strike Search to find that Karina's Focus, and having Cheryl in hand is just really, really good here. I just feed you another VMAX, buddy. Okay, so you're just smacking my VMAX. That's completely fine. Okay, let's do the Rapid Strike Search. We're gonna go here. Well, you know what? We could win this turn. Now, I want to see if you, the viewer, can see where we're going to win, because I see where we're going to win. We're just going to go ahead. First things first, because we have the extra 1 damage counter, we are going to plant it right there. No Manaphy in play, right? We have no Manaphy in play. We raw drew the Melanie. We're going to play Melanie right now. Now, can we make it work is the question. We can make it work. Look at that. We're going to go in. We're going to Rapid Strike Search. Now, that was lucky. I don't know who you are, but that was lucky. We're going to go in here. We're going to get the Tower of Waters. So now we can switch out of the active spot. We can attach the Rapid Strike Energy, do a retreat, and there it is. We got there because we can hit 120 in 2 spots, take our last 2 prize cards. This deck is so aggressive. I love it. And there it is, Rapid Strike box, doing everything that it was meant to do. And I didn't even really check my prize cards most of the time. Just going in there and seeing what a great meta spread it has. This deck is so good in the competitive meta right now. You can spread damage counters everywhere, start taking 2 prize turns, even on single prize Pokemon decks. I love the way that this deck plays out. There are so many pieces to put together. It honestly is a big brain deck, but the more and more you play it, the easier this gets, and the easier you can map out where your damage counters are going to go and for what turn. You can calculate the cards that are still in your deck based on what you're going to draw. There's so much draw support now in this deck, so I really, really like the way that it plays. I think the deck is solid. I think unless you're hitting Mew, really that's the only problem that exists for you right now is just Mew VMAX. Aside from that, I think that the list is solid. The 60 is very, very good. If you have any comments on any of the gameplay here, or let us know in the comments below here what other cards you might want to add into this list if you're playing Rapid Strike. Tell us and we'll check it out, and maybe you can have a portion of the decks that we post be your input on our Patreon. And if you aren't subscribed to our Patreon, make sure you're checking the links down below, and you can sign up for all of our articles through there, as well as the deck list that we post in our Patreon Discord. Aside from that, I'm just going to sign off here on this video. I'm PJ with the Shuffle Squad, and we'll catch you next time.
You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.